Welcome everybody, my name is Michael and today's video is about cryptocurrency and specifically Bitcoin ATMs. So a lot of people have trouble purchasing Bitcoin or Ethereum or altcoins, especially if they are new to the cryptocurrency environment. Bitcoin ATMs can help you with that because it's usually pretty easy, except the one thing that I forgot to mention. You see, 90% of the people watching this are probably coming from Kubera. On Kubera a few months ago, we already made an update about Bitcoin ATMs. I've had a specific interest in this. I live in Poland currently. I'm returning back to the States in a few months. And in the EU, there are more countries that you're able to have a Bitcoin ATM, first of all, as an owner without a license or with limited licensing, compared to the United States where you need a special financial license. This can cost anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 or even potentially more money, which the average person doesn't have that much, because then you need to spend a few $1,000s per ATM. You need to have a few $1,000s to put into every ATM. You need to have a few $1,000s for marketing, for protection, for figuring out the logistics and everything. You need to have a few $1,000s in the hot wallet for Bitcoin, and if you have Ethereum or altcoins or whatever else. Now, if you do have that, the original cost of a few $1,000s is going to go up beyond $10,000 because there's a huge difference between a one-way or a two-way ATM. But so goes the differences when you're a consumer, when you're purchasing Bitcoin, when you're purchasing cryptocurrency in America. The verifications, the limits, it is crazy. It's absurd. So that's what unfortunately comes with regulation. Regulation is good in the long term, but in the short term, when it's coming in and when everything's changing and you're not really used to it, that's when it's like, whoa, so you just got to get along with it. In Poland, you do not need an ID unless you're surpassing, I think it was 10,000 euros or 5,000 euros. But even so, you're just able to go to a different Bitcoin ATM during the same day or come back to the same one the next day or even potentially a few hours later. So you don't really need an ID unless you specifically want over that amount immediately, where even then the verification is quite limited, because especially if you're a foreigner, like whatever. American citizens beware though, if you're trying to evade taxes, the IRS doesn't care if you're abroad. They will always get their taxes sooner or later. So later on, you just got to pay. But as a consumer, even with the verifications, it's still so much easier to purchase through a Bitcoin ATM. Sure, you're going to have 3.5, 4% on your, even up to 5, 10% actually. So you should probably avoid those ATMs. But the ATM that I go to, 3.5, sometimes you even have 1 to 2%. If it's a brand new ATM company, they have promotions, and that's all right with me. Sure. You're always going to be paying a broker's fee. Essentially, that's what it is. If you go to an exchange place, because there's exchange shops, even in Poland, or ATMs. But if you go to an exchange shop, you're most likely going to have to verify your amount. And they only go, like, for example, the exchange shops in Poland are only up from 3,000 PLN, which that's, I think, like $600, $700 and up. So you have to have a certain amount. Bitcoin ATMs still are definitely easier to use than going through an exchange, and the exchange has maintenance, just like the video I posted on Kubera today. There's a lot of issues when you're trying to purchase cryptocurrency as a new investor. High fees, maintenance issues, which that just could mean the website is specifically trying to be down on purpose. Some people don't believe that Coinbase has maintenance every other week, every other month. Maybe they're doing that on purpose to get a few percent. Who knows? Let's not go conspiracy theory here. But what we do know, looking at the hard facts, is a few months ago I made a video that we had over 10,000 ATMs around the world. Now we are approaching 14,000 that are registered on Bitcoin ATM Radar, and that means there could be potentially 15,000 ATMs, because at the rate that we're growing at so quickly, where there's a few hundred ATMs popping up in even new countries right now, this means that before the ATM is registered, it could be already operating. And it does take a few days or even a few weeks to set this up, because after you purchase, there might be some issues. You have to make sure that it works, because if it doesn't, the first customer that goes in is going to give you a bad review. Then you're going to have to change your company name. At the rate that this is happening, it's so quick that we are going to essentially double from 10,000 this year. We might even surpass 25,000 Bitcoin ATMs, because just a rate that we grew at from last year. And with the Bitcoin bull run right now, where sure there was a correction, but Bitcoin hit $42,000. So you make money as a Bitcoin ATM owner from both selling the Bitcoin and purchasing the Bitcoin at an extra few percent. But you're probably holding on to a fair amount of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin's going up, you're making good capital gains, baby. But the reason I wanted to chat and make this video on this channel channel specifically is every now and then I'm going to be posting an update with that number where we are. Poland is number 7th, which surprises me, but that's probably because of the lax regulation, and that's a good thing. The United States is number 1, where it has the majority of ATMs. Poland is almost at 100 ATMs. We're almost there. Previously, when I was making a video, it was at 67, so we're already in the 90s. Most of the ATMs are owned by 3 companies in particular. So it's both a good business, and there's a demand for it as a consumer because you want to go through it. With these issues with Bitcoin, it takes 30 to 60 minutes at max. Honestly, once your coin is verified, 6 out of 6 confirmations, there you go. You can pick up the money, or you check it in your wall. You're already on your way back home. It's easy as pie. Now, of course, the lockdowns and the pandemic probably affect the Bitcoin ATM business a little bit, because if the malls that you're going to are closed, or if it's partially closed, or all the stores are closed, there's going to be less traffic. But the pandemic did also probably help with the rise of cryptocurrency. It is a very simple business. It's like vending machines, as long as you're in a country that doesn't have this regulation. When you do have this regulation, it's not that simple. It's like running a bank. Now, the taxes that come afterward are probably not as simple, but woohoo. So how many ATMs are there in the United States? There are over 11,000, almost at 11,100. In Canada, we're approaching 1,100, so just 10% of that, which is in the United States. Then you have Spain and the UK. UK is number 3rd with 200-something ATMs. And then every other country, you have Austria, Spain, and then I think it was Switzerland and Poland. All of these companies are just 100-something or right next to 100. So the race is on. I'm curious to see how many more countries can get to 1,000 Bitcoin ATMs. And of course, this is going to depend on the population. The population of Poland is 1/10 of the size of the US. But also, once you start to factor in, hey, the Bitcoin ATMs that are going to be happening in India, or in Indonesia, or Brazil, or these areas with high population. The reason I'm not mentioning China, it's probably very difficult to have a Bitcoin ATM operating in China because there's certain issues with cryptocurrencies accepted in China, of course, but it is restricted. There is quite a bit of regulation over there. So South Korea would probably be a good bet. Japan has a lot of politicians, a lot of companies. The government's okay with Bitcoin. So that's another country where you can see a lot of Bitcoin ATMs. Not at the moment, which is surprising. There's a fair amount, but not at the moment. It's not overwhelming. And of course, most of these Bitcoin ATMs are located in the bigger cities. So as time goes on, you're going to see more and more of them appearing in cities where they haven't been there before. Or if there's only 1 or 2 Bitcoin ATMs, sometimes it's a really bad competitor. You just want to take them out. So here's to 15,000 Bitcoin ATMs upcoming, because we're almost there at 14,000. It's just a matter of days. 15,000 is around the corner. If you're invested in cryptocurrency, if you've made good money, make sure you have that emergency fund. Make sure you're taking some profits. But here's to happy days for all of us. And thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share. And we shall see you guys in the next one. Thank you. Bye.